Welcome back to the channel, everybody. It's been a while since I've done one of the sorting and rambling videos, so it's kind of overdue, and there's a whole lot of stuff coming down the pipe here recently. It's just unbelievable how much news is happening and stuff going on, new sets being dropped, new products being dropped. It is nuts. First off, I wanted to mention the new rules for the companion. If you haven't heard yet, companions starting, I think, tomorrow. You will have to pay 3 colorless mana at any time during the game to put your companion into your companion slot to be able to cast him. I guess it's not actually in your hand, I don't think. I think it's still in kind of a command zone. But that's, as far as I understand it, that's what's going on. You got to pay 3 colorless mana at any time to be able to cast the companion into the command zone type ancillary spot there, before you can actually cast it onto the board using its casting cost. So they nerfed them. You know, I don't know if, I personally don't know of a better way to have handled the situation, because so many people were upset about the companions. Personally, I wasn't upset about them. I thought they were fun. I built a couple companion decks myself with Lairs. Yep, he's awesome. I can see where he can get kind of out of hand, but and same with Obosh. Obosh can get kind of out of hand. You know, they all are pretty strong, but that's a good thing. I like strong cards. I like cool, you know, kind of aggressive kind of stuff like that. But yeah, they nerf companions completely. The other thing is the bannings. Everybody sing with me. Na 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 na. Hey hey hey. Goodbye. See ya, agent. Get the hell out of here. God, you're annoying. Agent of Treachery is finally banned. That card is just obnoxious. I mean, on its surface, it's not a bad card. Obviously, they really screwed up by not putting non-land permanent. Letting people just wipe out your lands with the Agent of Treachery. I've been on the receiving end of that, where I not only got my threats taken away, but also my lands taken away at the same time by agents, because it's just too easy to cheat him out now. There's so many ways to get him onto the board, with Winata especially. God, I've been watching a certain YouTuber too much that puts an X in especially, and now it's starting to rub off on me. Stop it. All right. Especially Winata, and then the Thassa combo with the Agent of Treachery is just broken. So yeah, I mean, they would have had to ban like 10 cards to knock Agent back down to a reasonable power level. Agent on his own, like I said, is not a very bad power level at all, and it's a cool card. They should have made it non-land permanent, but even still, I mean, 7 for a 2/3 is pretty slow. It's just there's so many ways to cheat cards into play now. And then the other one was Fires of Invention. You know, that card that they literally just sold us decks that revolve around Fires of Invention. Right there. Four Fires of Invention. Now this deck is completely worthless. I don't know. This is, you can easily kind of transform this one into the Super Friends deck. If you take out the Fires of Invention. Come on, focus. You can focus. You can do it. All right. Come on, focus for me. My cameras don't want to focus on it. You can take out the Fires of Invention. You can easily kind of convert this over to the Super Friends deck, concentrating on the Planeswalkers. But yeah, I think it's just quite silly that they release a Fires of Invention deck. Why won't this thing focus today? And then there we go. Immediately they ban Fires of Invention. Of course, there's some tinfoil hat theories that they knew they were going to have to ban Fires of Invention right after they released these, and that's why they kind of secretly were telling stores to dump these as fast as possible. And I think they were actually, I heard, this is probably tinfoil hat stuff, but I heard that they were actually like offering some type of bonus or whatever to get rid of these as fast as they could, or they knocked the price down on them or something to some stores, just to try and move them and sell them as fast as possible. That's why they were so cheap at the beginning, and they're still kind of pretty cheap. I mean, you can pick up the full set of 4 still for like 70 bucks online. So, or you can pay like 70 for 2 of them at Walmart. So, anyways, I think it's kind of crazy how they literally just released a deck with Fires of Invention as the main focal point of the deck, and then they ban it like right afterwards. Kind of funny. All right, let's start sorting some cards here while I'm yapping. So kind of funny how they did that, how that all worked out there. Man, I haven't sorted cards in a while. I had to stop and think about what the order was. But so that's what we got to say about the bannings and all that, and the new rules for companion. Let me know in the comments what you think about the new companion rule. Do you think they could have gone a different way? Are you one of the haters that just wants them completely banned outright? Oh, they're terrible, just ban companion. Yeah, it hasn't been even out for a month yet. I like the companion. I think it's a cool addition. I think it's kind of a really cool way for them to kind of cross over that commander kind of aspect into standard. You know, I thought it was cool. Yeah, obviously Vintage is gonna break anything. So Vintage broke Lairs like right away. But Vintage is gonna break anything. There's so many cards out there, and you know, I mean, there's gonna be combos that they can't possibly think of, they can't foresee. I mean, the Lairs one with Vintage is kind of obvious. I mean, oh look, I can recast my Black Lotus every turn. But I mean, then again though, Lairs is so easy to get rid of. I mean, so I've got 2 Lairs decks, and it's not very often that the Lairs actually lives past the first turn. You know, he's usually just like a regrowth for anything under 2 mana. You know, he usually just lets me recast 1 card, and then he gets killed quite quickly. If he even, you know, sometimes he gets killed on the way to the battlefield. I mean, people are shocking that boy the second they see him. You know, they don't like Lairs for some reason, and I don't blame them. You know, when I'm playing against somebody, they pop out a Lairs, I'm like, kill it, kill it with fire, get rid of that thing. I hate it. I love Lairs. I just, yeah, on the opponent's battlefield, he's not my friend. I do not like him. You know? So yeah, I mean, Vintage is gonna break anything. So that one was destined to get broken pretty hard, anyways. But you know, I think it's crazy they banned it in Vintage, though. I mean, you'd think they would have. I don't know. Is it actually banned, or is it just banned as a companion? That's the question. And now that they changed the companion rules, will they unban it? Probably not, because you can still get them out on the first turn in Vintage pretty easy. Even with the extra 3, it's still not going to slow them down too terribly much in Vintage. Because Vintage actually has a good mana base, unlike all the newer sets and formats, you know, where you can't use half the good mana base, you know, artifacts that produce mana. Remember those? Anyways, I digress. So, next topic is the Chandras Spellbook. They finally released all the information on that. Looks pretty exciting. I'm probably going to pick up some, obviously, because Chandra is my favorite, Chandra? I don't know. I can't even spell her. I can't even pronounce her name right because I don't know what it is, and she's my favorite Planeswalker. Why? Because I like Burn. Burn is good. Red's kind of always been my go-to color. I like aggro, so black and red have pretty much always been my favorites amongst the primary colors there. Not that white or black are primary colors. You know what I'm saying. You know what I mean. All right. So, Saundra, Torch of Defiance is going to be the actual Planeswalker back from Kaladesh. They also put Cathartic Reunion in there, because we don't have nearly enough recent reprints of that one. But, yeah, it ties in with Chandra, and they put some cool, I don't know if it's new, it might be older, Chandra's art on there with Chandra and her mother on it, so that's pretty neat. Fiery Confluence is in there. Pest in Flames, which is a really cool card, from a block I loved. That one's got the flashback. I do love flashback. I think that should have really become an evergreen mechanic. I think flashback is awesome. I like that ability a lot. Like just like the escape mechanic in Theros. I really like that one too. Anything where you can recast a card from the graveyard, you know, I'm all for. I like being able to use my cards more than once, you know, especially instant and sorcery spells. So, and that's what that one does. Then they got the Pyroblast from Ice Age. So in the original set, there was a red elemental blast and blue elemental blast, which are red and blue hating on each other. I always thought it was, you know, kind of wimpy that they didn't put those in every color. I think every color should have had its enemy hate in it. But they decided to just do it in red and blue for whatever reason. And then when Ice Age came around, they did it again. And they called them Pyroblast and Hydroblast instead of red elemental blast and blue elemental blast. So this is the red version of that. It's just blue hate. Counter target spell if it's blue, or destroy target permanent if it's blue, I believe it is. So they changed the wording a little bit, which did help, because now you can cast it if you're trying to create a storm trigger, or just trying to create another red spell to trigger off some kind of ability, you know. So you can aim it at something and it just fizzles if it's not a blue permanent, as to where the original one would you could only cast it against a blue permanent. So you know, they changed the wording a little bit in Ice Age to make them a little more flexible. And then next up, Pyromancers Ascension. And then they got Red of Flame, which is a really cool little card. I always liked Red of Flame. And then Young Pyromancer, which is Chandra's little fanboy dude there, guy. Yeah. So he's a pretty cool card, because it does, you know, every time you cast an instant or sorcery, it pops out a little 1/1 elemental. So that's always fun. You can go pretty wide, and there's a lot of stuff in the newest set that it does impact instants and sorceries and really get a lot more use out of them after you use them, which was always a big problem with especially the red decks, is that, you know, you'd load up on, you know, back in my day, chain lightnings and lightning bolts and all that stuff, and the problem would be that you would run out of cards too quick, because you get rid of all those instants and you know, do a whole bunch of damage right off the bat, but then your hand's empty because you cast so many cheap cards so quickly, and then you have problems drawing cards, which is why Wheel of Fortune and Winds of Change were so sought after back in the day, because, you know, anything that was red that would help you draw cards was very important. So it still is, obviously, as you can see. So Young Pyromancer, you know, being able to bring in a few more creatures, you know, to get a little more usage out of those instants and sorceries, and then you know, the Past in Flames to be able to recast some of those instants and sorceries is definitely a big thing. I think they came up with some good choices. I'm really disappointed that Chandra's Spitfire wasn't in there. I think that would have been an obvious shoe-in. It's got her name in it. And Chandra's Regulator wasn't in there either. Like, the cards that have her name in the title are not in the spellbook. That's kind of weird. But you know, they did choose some good cards, and they are very theme oriented to her. So I think it's probably going to be. I have a feeling this is probably going to be the best selling spellbook they've ever done to date. The Gideon spellbook was kind of awful. And the Jace spellbook was cool, and it was the first one. There was some good stuff in it, but I just don't think Jace is as popular as Chandra, and Jace is a little bit more of a, you know, blue control type thing, and Chandra is all about quick, fast damage, you know, aggro, which is a lot more popular in the game in general. So I think they you know, this one's probably going to be the best selling spellbook they've ever done. So that's just my personal opinion. I don't know why I started in the kind of shallow bins instead of the deeper bins in here. I don't know what I was thinking there. You weren't thinking. I know. I'm sorry. All right. Anyways. Oh yeah, because I got to reach a lot further to get to these. This hurts my shoulder. So anyways, moving on. Next up, so Double Masters. Wow. what a show this has been. Yeah. Duel of Masters is... Duel of Masters has been wacky. It's already causing people to freak out and go on rampages and you know, lose a ton of money or gain a ton of money, and the set is like 3 months from coming out. I mean, it is ridiculous. So the oh wow, there's a whole big clump of lands there. I haven't seen any of the dual lands. I think a big clump all of a sudden. I think I might have been sorting them out kind of as I went along. Anyways, so the Duel Masters, if you're not aware, they announced it and put it on Amazon for pre-order literally like as they announced it, and it sold out in like a few hours. They put it up at $2.99 a box, which I was at the point going, oh wow, that's like a lot more than I was hoping it was going to be, you know, $300 for just a standard box of cards. Holy cow. And I was still hemming and hawing about the price, and then next thing I know, they're sold out, and I'm like, maybe I should have bought some. Oops. Although I've been having major trouble with pre-orders here on this last set. You watch my Commander videos, you know that I got completely hosed by Don's Dugout, acting as Cards and Toys on eBay, but the payment went to Don's Dugout. I pre-ordered a set of Commander from them for $145 back in March. They kept my money for over 2 months. And when the set finally dropped, they never sent it out. No communication, no refund, no cancellation, nothing. They just never sent it out. I emailed them politely asking them what the deal was and when I would be getting it. No replies at all. So I've been fighting with PayPal to try and get my money back. That's now 3 months been gone. I could have really used that money on other things. I am an investor in the stock market and stuff. I could have made money there with that money. That money could have made me more money in this time. I could have bought a lot more boxes and opened a lot more, or you know, a lot more products and opened a lot more stuff on video for you guys in that time. I could have just bought a box of Core 2019 or two and sat on them and already made money on them, you know? I mean, there's a million ways that money could have made me more money in the past 3 months instead of sitting in that dude's bank account for a product he never sent me. So, and then I've been having trouble with other ones as well that got lost in shipping and are taking forever. And, oh, we will definitely send that case out to you. We just have to wait on a reorder because that first one must have got lost in shipping. Okay. So I'm waiting on another case of Ikoria that I pre-ordered ahead of time at a decent price because the first case got lost in shipping apparently. So we'll see what happens with that. He's a seller I bought from before, so I don't, at least I hope he's not planning on hosing me on that one. I don't think he is. I think it might have just been a shipping error or something, like they thought they sent that case out and then realized they didn't. I don't know. But it's yeah. So I've been fighting a lot on the pre-order stuff, so I'm really kind of getting a little gun shy on doing pre-orders very far in advance now, because I pre-ordered the Ikoria stuff back in March, and then because it was supposed to drop in April, and then obviously with the Demic, the good old Demic situation here, it didn't drop until mid-May, and yeah, a month later. So yeah, I went several months without my money because I already planned on going a little over a month without my money because I wanted to pre-order early and get good prices. And a lot of good that did me when the seller hosed me and sold it for the higher price once it actually released, and then didn't even refund me or cancel me or anything. So I didn't even know, and just was giving them the benefit of the doubt, giving them some time, and then decided not to reply to me, and now I have to go chase them through PayPal's whatever they call it, a dispute thing or whatever. So yeah, I had to open a case and all that. So, and PayPal takes forever to get your money back, so now I'm probably going to be 4 months without my money. because I was trying to be proactive and order ahead of time. So I don't think I'm going to make that mistake with double masters. So there's a chance I may not get any. I'm hoping that's not the case. I'm hoping I do get my hands on it. I imagine I will, but I don't know. This set's pretty crazy. All right, so for the rumored cards that are going to be in the set, or rumored to be in the set, apparently there was some leaked information. We don't know if it's true or not, but I figured I'd give one to you with the caveat that don't believe me, don't take my word. I'm not the one saying I heard that these are the cards. Well, I mean, I'm saying I heard that these are the cards that are going to be in the set, but I didn't hear it from any reputable source. These are just rumors and innuendo at this point, but I figured I'd go over those and we talk about them a little bit when I sort out some cards here. So the first one's Force of Will. I'm totally fine with that because I sold my 2 play sets of Force of Wills with my collection, 2.5, I think. I think I might have had like 10 of them with my collection 12 years ago, and now I'm really kind of about to cry about that. Because, yeah, I don't think I'm going to be able to buy 10 Force of Wills anytime in the near future because I don't have that kind of money. I still work a day job, like 3 of them. So, anyways, yeah, so Force of Will would be a cool addition, in my opinion. I know everybody that's sitting on a bunch of investments in Force of Will is, like, terrified of that, but don't worry, the original price will probably not get affected too much. I've started to notice that the price of the original cards, because they're so far gone and so hard to get now, and there's so many more players now than there was back then, the prices of the original cards aren't really impacted a whole lot by reprints. As far as the real early sets, the pre-date ones, you know, or not predate, the pre-rarity color. That's what I was looking for. The pre-rarity color sets, you know, all those, what that would be like pre-Exodus, I think. All those sets are so hard to get your hands on nowadays because there were such smaller print runs and such, there was a lot less players back then compared to how many players there is now. And, you know, shady investors like, well, I wouldn't call myself a shady investor, you know, but I am an investor somewhat, kind of, maybe a little, not really. Player first, investor second. But, you know, there's so many more people involved in the game and so much more, you know, deeper pockets now with a lot of these investors that are taking part in this whole thing now that, you know, it's not, those cards, there's not enough of them to go around really. So those older cards really don't notice a huge impact when they get reprinted. It just makes it easier for the players that weren't around back then or were dumb like me and sold their collection. Stupid. To get their hands on the cards that they either lost or sold or just were not around when they came out to be able to get them. So I think it's a good thing to reprint some of those older cards that are not reserve list. And frankly, I don't care if they reprint reserve list cards. I would, if they reprint Black Lotus tomorrow, I'd be like, all right, I can finally get one. You know, I mean, that might be a secret lair I might actually buy. If I can afford it. They'd probably do the same thing they did with the Fetchlands. It'd be like the first $50,000 secret lair with 1 card in it and not even foil. But anyways, you know, I look at it as, you know, so even, you know, hypothetically, even if they did reprint Black Lotus tomorrow and put it in a $50,000 secret lair or even a $10,000 secret lair, you really think it hurt the value of an alpha Black Lotus? No. Probably wouldn't even hurt the unlimited Black Lotus, to be honest. I don't think it's going to hurt the value of the original. I think the original 3 sets and the original 4 Horsemen expansions definitely won't be impacted by any kind of reprints as far as the individual card values, because there's so much of a difference of actually having that piece of history in your hand as opposed to just having the card for playability reasons. I personally would love to have Power 9 for playability reasons. I just can't justify the cost. And I've usually done okay at building decks without them that can compete with them, or at least I used to be able to. I don't know about now. We'll see, but I should be able to, hopefully. You know, so it's you know, I don't think the original cards are gonna get hurt that much. I don't think the value of Force of Will is gonna go down considerably if they put it in the new Double Masters. Plus, they're probably not gonna do a massive print run on this one. We'll see though. They could. Jace the Mind Sculptor is another one that's on the rumored to be in it list. And I'm sure nobody really bats an eye at that one. I think he's been printed in master sets before. At least I know a few of the Jaces have. Don't know about that particular one. Thoughtseize. Thoughtseize will probably, that one will probably hurt the original one, because the original one was really the only card of any value in the original Theros boxes. I really hope they do, even though I have Thoughtseize that I pulled in. I didn't pull it in the Theros box that I opened. I pulled it in the Theros bundle that I opened, actually. So I do have an original Thoughtseize from Theros, if anybody's interested. Anyways, I do have an original one, but I'm not worried so much about the price going down. I don't think it's going to hurt the price of the original one too terrible. I mean, I think it is going to lower it. I don't think it's going to be, and it's probably only going to be somewhat temporary. But I think it's going to destroy the price of the Theros boxes, which I'm also sitting on some of those. But I'm not too worried about it because I'm not sitting on hundreds of them. I'm sitting on, I think, 2. So if I could get more for cheaper, I would be fine with that. It's a stock market strategy that we call cost averaging. You know, when a stock, when you buy in a stock, say you buy in at $5 a share, and then the stock plummets down to like $3 a share, but you still think that company's good and it's going to age well over time, and it's not going anywhere, and it's going to keep going up in value, you buy a lot more to cost average down, because that way, even if it only goes back up to that $5 a share, you're actually making a lot of money at that point, you know, because if you cost average down to like $3.50 a share, you're making $1.50 a share when it goes back up to $5. So that's kind of how I'm looking at it with the Theros boxes. Right now, Theros boxes are around that $150 a box, $160 some places. I think they've been steadily kind of going up. But just with this rumor of the Thoughtseize possibly being in there, because that's really the most valuable card in the set. That's what's driving the box prices up that much. Just in the past week or so since that rumor came out, I've seen the Theros boxes come down a little bit. So if they do reprint Thoughtseize in there, I think the Theros boxes are going to come like quite a bit down, maybe down to the 130s, 120 range, which means you can actually pick up some and sit on them, because eventually they're going to go back up to the $150 and most likely go quite a bit higher than that as they age and get older and harder to get. So yeah, I'm all for Thoughtseize being reprinted, even though it's gonna hurt my value on some of my boxes and cards in the short term. I know that in the long term, it's cost averaging me down. I'm gonna actually end up making more money. But next up is Mox Opal. That's one I'm, again, all for, because I don't have any. I've opened some, what was it, Dominaria that was in or whatever. I've opened some boxes that had that in it, but I have not pulled a single one. I've had terrible luck with the Mox Opal, and it's a card that I would like to own, so I hope it is in there, just so I could get some. Do I think it's going to hurt the original, or the most recent one's prices? Probably not a lot on that one, because that's a card that everybody wants. And that's the thing is, you know, supply and demand. Everybody wants a Mox Opal, or 4, so you know, it's just like the Mana Crypt, which is the other card that's rumored to be in Double Masters as well, because, you know, they didn't just reprint that in mystery boosters or anything, which I opened 6 and didn't get a single one. What the hell? Yes, I have an original one. That is one of the good cards that I kept when I sold my collection. I do have an original Mana Crypt that I wouldn't sell that one ever, because I had to read an awful novel, the first Magic novel, to get that card. So Nah, it wasn't a terrible novel. It was pretty cool, but it was, yeah, it was the first Magic novel, so it was a little weaker than the stuff they got nowadays. But yeah, I had to read that book to get that one, and that, I think it was a Nolothny Dragon or something they called it. That I did end up getting rid of, but the Mana Crypt, because I had it in my main deck, I held on to that, and I'll never get rid of that. So, but, you know, I'd like to have one of the newer Mana Crypts, so I'm fine with that being in there. And I don't think it's going to hurt the value because everybody wants a Mana Crypt. So, the Mystery Booster printing really didn't hurt the earlier Mana Crypt values at all, so I don't think this one's going to either. Karn the Liberator is one that's rumored to be in there. So I don't know. I'm not really having an opinion either way on that one. So I don't know. I don't know a whole lot about the Karn because that's kind of from one of the newer sets that I'm not too familiar with as far as the values or whatnot. The other thing that's rumored to be in Double Masters is Urza's Lands. I don't know what that means. I would imagine that probably means the Tron lands because they've been reprinted before. I'm hoping, though, that they mean the Cradle and the Academy. That would be nice because I had, you know, Cradles and Academies when I sold my collection were only like $10 cards, $12 cards, I think. So I had probably 10 or 12 of each. I had a few pages in a binder full of Gaia's Cradles and Tolarian Academies because I loved them. A lot of people didn't. I mean, a lot of people used them, but they weren't like they are now. They weren't like, oh my god, I have to have one of those in this deck. You know, back then I was like, oh yeah, you know, I'll put it in my green deck if I need more mana or something. You know, people were kind of just, whatever. You know, and the Tolarian Academy especially, they're like, oh, you got to kind of build a deck around it. You know, so it's got to be a lot of artifacts in there and stuff. You know, I don't like to use a lot of artifacts, so I don't need it. You know. So they weren't really that huge at the time when they were still kind of newer. So you know, that they weren't that big. So I sold all mine, and I really wish I'd have kept them because those were awesome cards. I really love those lands. So if they reprinted those, I'd be totally stoked with it. I do like the Tron lands. I do have original. I think I've got a couple original sets of the Tron lands. Not original. I'm sorry. A couple of the Chronicles sets of the Urza's Tron lands. So I mean, they're even the even the Chronicles ones really aren't worth a whole lot. So I don't think anybody's got to worry about value if they reprint the Tron lands. But if they reprint the Cradle and the Academy, again, I think those sets are old enough, and you know, people would so much rather have the Urza's logo on them than a modern logo. That I think it's not really going to hurt the value of the original cards too much. You know, I mean, it's pretty much, it seems like, it's kind of that, I'd say post-invasion block, like, well, so after Urza's block. You know, Urza's block and before, I really don't see a reprint hurting the original values a whole lot. Because those cards are so sought after, and everybody would rather have the originals from way back then, because they're so old and historical and different borders and stuff, different look, different feel, much better quality. I think people would definitely rather have the older ones than the newer ones. So I think they could print any of that stuff. I think they could do away with the reserve list and reprint all those cards. And yeah, a few people that are hoarding certain ones to try and drive up the price and make a lot of money on might be crying themselves to sleep at night. But for the most part, I think nobody really cared. I mean, I'd actually be fine with it because that way I could get those cards easier, you know. And like I said, I'm a player first, investor second or third, I don't know, fourth, I don't know. I'm just basically trying to not lose money on the game this time around. I'm basically trying to make enough profit to sustain myself in the game this time. So it's not really about trying to become a millionaire selling Magic cards, because yeah, I only know a few people that have managed to do that. And I think they got right place, right time, and a lot of hard work for many years, kind of, you know, blessed on that front. You know, I don't know that that's a repeatable thing, But could be. Yeah, but you know, maybe 20 years from now and a lot of hard work like they put into it later, maybe. But not something I'm counting on. I'm not counting on retiring from selling Magic cards. So with that said, I'm not really too concerned. I kind of wish they would print a lot of the older stuff just so I could have it to play with for my decks. Now, would I rather have, you know, a Alliance's Force of Will than a Double Masters Force of Will? Hell yes. Any day of the week. Would I rather pay double for that card to put it in my deck because it's the older one? No. No, I wouldn't. I would rather buy the cheaper one or bust it in a pack because pack opening has always been my favorite part of the game. I think almost as much as playing, you know. You know, even sometimes more than playing. I just have fun opening packs. Sorting, however, I absolutely hate this. Can I hire you? I'll pay you to do this for me. Okay. Seriously. I can't afford to pay anybody. I'm just kidding. So, yeah, that's how I feel about the reprints and stuff. All right. Moving on. This is starting to be a long video here, and I'm starting to run out of room here to sort. So, Core 2021. We saw a picture of 4 cards. It's very convenient. Wasn't it a picture of 4 cards in the 4 of the Godzilla cards that just happened to get leaked ahead of time? Very conveniently to build up a lot of hype for people before that set dropped. And now all of a sudden we've got a picture of 4 cards that got leaked ahead of time that somebody just happened to grab. It's almost like, I need a tinfoil hat for this next conversation, but it's almost like WotC might be doing this on purpose to build hype, because if I owned a big business like that, I would do that. It's a smart move, you know? Just accidentally leak some information, get a bunch of people talking about it. I mean, look how much of us are talking about it. I'm making a video about it right now. Anyway, it's just weird how every set here all of a sudden seems to have a leak ahead of time and photo of 4 cards for the very next set. You know, I'm thinking in, what, 2 weeks, we'll see 4 leaked jumpstart cards. Leaked. That somebody just happened to get. You know? So, it seems to be a trend. Yeah, I need a tinfoil hat, I know. Anyways, the 4 cards that we've seen photos of that we don't know if they're true or not is Bane Slayer Angel, which is a big old beastie with lots of cool little keywords all over it. Massacre Worm, which would be awesome because then you could put Massacre Worm and Massacre Girl in the same deck and shenanigans would happen. It would be fun. So yeah, Massacre Worm. Basically probably the early inspiration for Massacre Girl. And then Ugin the Spirit Dragon. And then a new Chandra. Now that's the most baffling thing to me is, aren't the core sets supposed to be reprints? They're not supposed to be new cards in the core sets. At least that's how it was in the early days. In the early days it was, you know, obviously we had the original sets, that kind of stopped with Unlimited. Unlimited was kind of the main core set, and then, you know, Revised, I don't believe there was any new cards in Revised. I think they just added cards from the earlier expansions. They would just reprint some of the cards in the expansion and take out some of the cards from the core set to kind of help it, you know, evolve a little bit. So I don't think there was any new cards in Revised, between Revised and Unlimited. It's been a long time, but I think it went like that with 4th and 5th edition as well. I don't think there's any new cards in the core sets that they introduced. They were just pulling reprints from the other sets, from the expansion sets. So I don't know that they'll actually, I don't know, that just doesn't seem correct to me that they would put cards from or brand new cards in a core set, but I don't know. Maybe that's what they started doing in the past 12 years while I've been away. I don't know. Let me know. Let me know if they've been putting new cards in core sets, but that seems a little weird that they're putting a new Chandra in there. But it looks like the photo was of a Chandra that we've never seen before, so we'll have to see. It would be a brand new Planeswalker if that was the case. So I'm not sure what's going to happen with that. I know I have more commons around here somewhere. I just got to find them. Is it in here? Are they in here? Yep, there they are. There. I was going to say, I knew I had some more. All right, there we go. So, yeah, I've opened a lot of Ikoria, and I'm going to open more. So, be prepared. So, yeah, it's just weird that they would put a brand new Planeswalker in a set like that, in a core set. There's also rumor of that they may be reprinting Grim Tutor in there, which I'm totally down with because I love tutors, especially in black. And I definitely need new tutors because my old vintage deck, I may switch over, or I may not switch it over permanently, but I want the ability to be able to use it in Legacy as well as vintage. So if they reprint Grim Tutor, there's a chance I might be able to pick up some of those to replace the demonic tutors that are in my deck, because you can't use demonic tutors in Legacy, which sucks. Demonic Tutor is one of the best cards ever printed. I don't think it's overpowered. In fact, these days with Winata and stuff, Demonic Tutor's kind of weak, you know? I mean, it's not really that powerful in comparison, because, I mean, it doesn't let you search your library for a card and put it into play. I mean, there's a million cards now that let you put a card directly from your library into play. So, I mean, bring back Demonic Tutor. Come on now. I mean, they put Demonic Tutor in the mystery boosters, which is cool. And I did pull one or two, which is nice, because I didn't get any mana crypts. Weak sauce. So I'm totally fine with them reprinting Grim Tutor in there. Let me know what you guys think about it. Again, I think that's a card that probably not going to get hurt in value on the original too much. I really don't think any of the original cards are going to get hurt in value unless they're from more recent sets. You know, or they were just kind of a card that's only valuable because it was really hard to get your hands on, you know? Like it was some kind of like special buy a box or something like that, you know? Those could get really hurt, but they really didn't do a lot of that back in the older days, so any of the really old cards I don't think are going to get hurt in value if they reprint them. The other rumored one is Birds of Paradise. Birds of Paradise, the original values aren't going to get hurt at all. I don't even know if they'll knock them down a few cents on the original ones, because Birds of Paradise has been printed in 100 sets. I mean, there's been Birds of Paradise all over the place. It's a great card. Awesome card, and I hope they do reprint it so I can have some for some decks, because Birds of Paradise is a great little card. Very usable. And it's, I'd say, probably equally as powerful as the, what's the druid that has hexproof as long as she's untapped. Probably about the same. Breaking cards. Probably about the same power level as her. God, why can't I think of her name right now? Probably because I'm trying to do 6 things at once already. Anyways, I don't think Birds of Paradise is any more powerful than that, because it's easier to kill, because it doesn't have hexproof, and it doesn't even have power, so it's not like you can attack with it. Although I have attacked with Birds of Paradise many times. It's the point, you know. You gotta get your point across. You gotta say I'm aggressive, and you gotta attack with that zero power creature just to say I can hit you. I can hit you at any time. You watch it. Yeah. Peacocking. That's what it is. Anyways, so yeah, I'm totally fine with that. I don't think anybody's going to complain about that, because it's not going to affect any of the... I don't even think it'll affect the more recent Birds of Paradise reprints. And it would make sense, because they just made they just reprinted Birds of Paradise on the silly Secret Lair they just came out with, which is got to be one of the most god-awful looking Secret Lairs I've ever seen in my life. The birds one. Ugh, terrible. Speaking of the Secret Lair thing, yeah, it's about that. Yeah, everybody's broke, the economy's trash, the world's going crazy, and Wizards is like, hey, let's release 700 new Secret Lairs all at once. Yeah, everybody can afford that, you know? It'll be fun. The sick thing is, they might actually get me on this one. I'm really kind of pondering it. I'm really thinking about picking it up, for the main reason that you get the free fetch land if you buy all of them. So I could buy them all and then sell them all and have free fetch lands. So I've only got one enemy fetch land, and that was a lottery card that I pulled in one of the boxes that I opened. So I have pulled 2 lottery cards. If you're interested in watching lottery cards get pulled, I have pulled 2 lottery cards on my channel already. So there is that. That's the only enemy fetch land I have, and I'm not going to keep that. I'm going to sell that because that's a lot of money. It's a $300 card. So it's a Scalding Tarn, by the way. One of the most expensive of the lottery cards. So yeah, I'm kind of curious. I'm kind of thinking about possibly picking up, probably not 4, but 1 or 2 of the or 5. I guess you'd have to get, but they're random. So no, my luck, if I ordered 5, I get 5 of the same fetch land, which fine. I could trade them off for the ones I wanted. But I'm thinking about doing that just because, from a financial standpoint, it makes perfect sense. You know, you can either buy them all and then sell the fetch land for what you got into them, or you can buy them all, sell the Secret Lairs, and get the free fetch land. So either way, you get either free Secret Lairs or free fetch land. So it kind of makes total sense from a financial standpoint. I really dread the thought of doing it because you've heard me say that I don't think we should support the Secret Lairs because it's literally WotC breaking into the secondary market, and I think it's shady, and I think it should be illegal. It's basically insider trading, isn't it? I don't know, maybe I just don't know the laws or something, but I don't think it should be legal for them to dip into the secondary market with the Secret Lairs, honestly. But you know, they're a huge company. I'm just a poor player that works a couple day jobs to try and support his pack cracking addiction. So there's that. Anyways, so the new Secret Lairs, I mean, there's a lot of them. Some of them are really cool. Like, I like the artifact one. I think it's weak that there's only 3 cards in it, but they are, or actually, is there 3 or are there 5? I don't know. There's not many cards in it, but they're really good cards, and the artwork on them looks really cool. The artwork on the Birds one is just absolutely terrible. Oh, it's awful. I hate the Birds one. Yes, that would be one that I'd definitely sell. If I do end up picking any up, that one will be for sale. I'm not even going to open it on the channel because nobody wants to see those god-awful cards. So that one will just go straight on eBay or whatever to sell, or somewhere. So anyways, I'm thinking about it. Let me know what you think. Are you going to pick some up just to get the fetch lands, or what? Let me know what you guys think, what you plan on doing with that. So they are talking about, I think I might have been incorrect. I was thinking that they might reprint, because they said they were going to reprint the fetch lands before the end of the year in some form. So I was thinking it was going to be Modern Horizons 2, but it looks like Modern Horizons 2 isn't going to drop this year. God, I hope not. There's so many stupid sets coming out. Like Jumpstart next month again already. Another set. So Core 21 is coming out the first week of July, and then Jumpstart's in the second week of July, I think. Man, it's nuts. But there's some belief that Zendikar, because it was the first one to introduce the enemy fetch lands, that the enemy fetch, or the fetch lands might be in Zendikar, but not as a standard legal card, probably as a lottery card. They might be bringing back lottery cards. I'm kind of torn on this because, one, I think they should bring back lottery cards because I think lottery cards and box toppers really help the boxes age well. So it's really good for those of us like me who are kind of new back into the game again, and completely brand new as far as using the game as kind of an investment platform, because we'll be able to buy just standard boxes and sit on them, and they will go up in price. If they've got lottery cards in them, they will go up in price. And if they've got box toppers, they seem like they're probably going to go up in price. So I love the fact they put the box toppers in Ikoria, and I'd be perfectly fine with them putting the fetch lands as lottery cards in Zendikar boxes. That'd be pretty cool if they do it more like lottery cards and not like the priceless treasures that they did in the first one, which I think the priceless treasures, because I've seen people, actually, I've seen one of those pulled on video, and it was a used card. It was like a used Underground Sea or something like that somebody pulled on video. And I think what happened was literally somebody when you know the company changed hands or changed manager or something, somebody went through and found in an old desk somewhere some old school decks, and they're like, oh, what are we gonna do with these? And somebody had the brilliant idea, let's put them as a special bonus in every 10 boxes of cards or whatever in the first printing. You know, so I think they just found a couple old school decks and they just threw the cards that were valuable into the Zendikar boxes. Probably more like a whole box full of old school decks or something. So I think that's probably what happened, because the cards were used that they were thrown in there. They were not brand new cards. So I hope they don't do it like that. I hope it's not like a Priceless Treasures thing where you gotta, go through like 3 cases and not get a single one. You know, but as a lottery card, that'd be kind of cool, I guess. I wish they would ramp it up though. Probably like 1 and 3 boxes, I think would be reasonable. That way you kind of get 2 per case. I think that would be really, really, because it's gonna make it to where, you still have that lottery card kind of feel where you're not sure if you're gonna get one or not. If you buy a box or 2, you may not get one. You buy 3 boxes, you may not get one. You buy 4 boxes, you may not get one. You've got to buy a whole case to guarantee getting one, and by getting 2 in a case, that kind of makes that a little less impactful on the wallet, So that's my personal opinion on it, if they're going to do those as lottery cards. Or the other possibility is they might put the Fetchlands in the Ancillary spot in the collector's packs for Zendikar. Because Zendikar is only going to have 2 Commanders decks with it. So what are the other Ancillary cards going to be? There's no Planeswalker decks, because Planeswalker decks are done for. So the Ancillary spot doesn't have a lot of cards. Will they put the Fetchlands in the Ancillary spots in the Zendikar collector's boxes? That is a possibility. That's something that I've thought of. I haven't seen anybody else come up with that theory yet, but that's something I happened to think of the other day. I think it's reasonable. They might put them in the collector's boxes as kind of a bonus thing in there. And they could be more like a lottery card type thing in there, because if they're in the Ancillary spot, now there is 2 Commanders decks, so there is a possibility. I mean, the Commanders decks have, like 20, 30 rares in them. So, that would cut it down so that they'd probably have like 122 cards, so it'd be a whole sheet. So if they they might put like 1 Fetchland on each sheet, which would mean, you're probably lucky to get one in a case of collector's boxes. So yeah, that would be it'd be kind of rough. It would be kind of like a lottery card in the collector's boxes, which would be even worse than the lottery card in the standard boxes. So if they do it as a lottery card like that, I hope they do it in the standard boxes. If they do it as a but they, I'm hoping they might put them as a masterpiece in the collector's boxes too. So that's another option they might do. So it looks like the Fetchlands might possibly be in Zendikar in some format, but not actually in the standard packs, and not that way they won't be standard legal, because they say they don't want to slow down the gameplay by putting Fetchlands in the standard boxes. Lands that you have to tap to sacrifice to search your library for a land card, which slows down the game in a standard box. These standard boxes can't have fetch lands in them. I wish I had a Fable Passage nearby so I could put that up next to it too. Fable Passage. Just imagine a Fable Passage in my hand right now. Fable Passage, Evolving Wilds, both in standard, have been in standard for a long time, going to be in standard for a long time, both fetch lands. But they say they won't put fetch lands in the standard sets because it slows down the game. Liars. Filthy liars. Yeah, that's not the reason. The reason is they are wanting to score on financial proceeds from hitting the secondary market on the fetch lands. That's the real reason. So, anyways, they just can't say that legally. I wish they would and get sued, and somebody would force them to put Fetchlands in a standard box. Anyway, it's just my opinion. Because people need Fetchlands. I mean, and we need dual lands. Reprint dual lands already. Please? Please? Are dual lands on the restricted list? Or reserve list? I keep calling it restricted list, don't I? I don't think dual lands were too powerful. I really don't. I don't think dual lands are powerful at all. I think they were a staple. I think they're a staple that needs to be brought back. That's just my opinion, though. Let me know what you guys think. Anyways, I'm going to stop wasting y'all's time because I'm done sorting these cards as much as I can on video. Now I got giant stacks of cards I have to move to boxes so I can get them out of my way. So I can sort them out by color because, yeah, they literally take up the entire tray. You can't see that, but they take up the entire tray here. So, anyways, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know if you're going to buy any of those $100 VIP packs from the Double Masters set. $100 for one booster pack. Yeah, I might buy one to open on video, but that's probably going to be a waste of money. Anyway, so let me know what you guys think. Hopefully you'll check out some other videos while you're here. Yeah, just hit up those comments and kind of, let me know what your thoughts on all this stuff. If you're going to pick up the spell books, what do you think about the companion new ruling? What do you think about the bannings? What do you think about Double Masters? Your opinions on the Core 2021, the Jumpstart, the Zendikar, and the Fetchlands situation. What do you think about the new Secret Lairs? Are you going to pick some up to get the Fetchlands? Let me know. All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.